summer again.
Now, who is Kyle Vincent? Was he the lead singer of Scott English's band, or?
No. He's just someone that's in the business, and he sings well. He's a nice guy and everything, personable, and he just goes around and does these shows because the people like him. He worked with I can't think of the name of the group.
But he didn't have a hit with Mandy.
No.
Oh, he just sings it.
Sings it, yes.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's just
really well. I can't remember the group. They were the jumped around and everything. They were back in the I think in the 70s or the 80s. I can't think of it, Joe.
That's okay. I was down in the basement last night. I found another copy of Na Na Hey Hey. Pretty funny.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm organizing my house. I have, I started my TV career in '79, such as it is, public access, right?
Yeah.
But I have VHS tapes galore. You can imagine, thousands around the house. My bedroom, the living room. So this Christmas, on Christmas Eve, I cleaned out all the VHS tapes out of my bedroom. There might be 20, 30 left, right? Put them in storage. Thousands in the basement. I mean, they have to be transferred. It's so much work. But get them out of the house, put them in storage, have some breathing room in the living room and in the bedroom,
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just, I'm finding stuff. Now that I'm pulling the VHS tapes out, I didn't realize what clutter they were. And now my albums are organized and my books, and I feel so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
With all my goodies. So I got your 45 next to a Velvet Underground Greatest Hits.
Well, the one that you found, is that the original Nana?
Yeah, it's the original, whatever, blue label,
Yeah, Fontana.
Yeah. So I have a couple of them anyway, and, we got another record show coming up. You're always invited to come up to them, February 23rd.
Yeah.
I'll find some more there, I'm sure. We go looking. I love vinyl. I'm glad vinyl's coming back.
Yeah, I've seen and I've heard that. I still have a ton of 45s and albums in vinyl. I like them too. They don't bother me. I mean, the digital stuff is very clean, and I enjoy it when you put headphones and stuff on. But the albums and stuff didn't really bother me that much. The only problem with them was, you had to get up or to change to put different albums on and everything. Whereas with the digital, I mean, you could listen to a couple of thousand songs.
I have a John Lee Hooker 45 on Battle Records. And my friend Bobby Hebb played on some John Lee Hooker. We can't find it. But this Battle record is the record before Bobby Hebb's record on Battle with Sylvia Robinson. Remember Pillow Talk?
Yes.
And Love is Strange, which is in Men in Black 3. So Sylvia, Ian, and Mickey and Sylvia.
Right, yeah, I remember that too.
So it was Bobby and Sylvia, and they did a single for Battle. So I'm thinking, we couldn't find the Excello recordings, and I'm thinking maybe I got wrong information. It must be he recorded with John Lee on Battle. So I have the 45. Now I have one of those turntables you can transfer from 45 to CD.
Oh, yeah,
But I'm afraid to use it because this is a rare single. I'm thinking I better go to a master engineer and let them handle it, right? Because it could be the only fragment we have of Bobby playing with John Lee.
Oh, yeah.
I got a single, Bo Diddley, Bobby playing spoons with him.
Okay.
Well, I'm doing the box set, so I'm in the middle of finding all these rarities and thinking, what do I put on, what do I leave off? For volume one, because you only got so much space. But, it's I love going through all these archives and hearing things and piecing it together.
Yeah, well, obviously Bobby did a heck of a lot more stuff than I did, so I'm sure that you can find much more of him and to be able to put together whatever packages that you want. I mean, my stuff is pretty limited.
But we really need to see an overview of Gary DeCarlo with all of the singles you issued and with any master tapes that can be tracked down, because your work is important. And it would be nice to have a comprehensive, 2-disc set, even with some live material.
Oh yeah, I had about 8 or 9 singles on YouTube, but the guy's site got hacked, and he was only able to put 3 up, and that was it. I don't really know how to do this. I'm gonna have to learn to be able to put this stuff up myself. I don't know how to do it.
Well, we'll talk offline because I'm not going to mention any of the sites, but there are sites where you can find your singles if you don't have all of them.
Yeah.
And then they have to be transferred.
I have the 45s, but I'm saying I don't know how to put them up, even onto my Facebook and stuff, or even onto YouTube.
Oh, we have a fellow here at WinCAM, Joe LaRocco, who made a little movie for me. He put up one of my singles, There's Nothing Like a Hit, and he put a film behind it. So he created this really lovely black and white dazzling thing, and then my image, and he created the film, and then over the film he was able to put the audio, because with YouTube you got to have a movie.
Yeah.
Even if it's just an image of you with stuff floating around behind it. And so I'll send you it so you can see what he did. And if you've got some friends in the studio that are web savvy, you need to just find a video film. Even if you had film of you singing live, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in the process of doing a video for Na Na Now, the dance version. We're just coming up with a concept, and we shot a couple of things last week. And, now we're just kicking around some other things. And basically we're going to do pretty much like what you're talking about. When we had some shots of me on stage, and then, obviously I'll be singing to, what we're going to do is, what the concept was me singing, and then there was going to be the guy and the girl, and it was going to be black and white, and it's going to look like an old vintage shot, whereas I'm singing to her and telling her years ago not to go with this guy and to leave him, as opposed to me singing now to a young girl.
Got it. Well, I got some advice for you on making a film.
Wow.
Two pieces of advice. One, if you have some footage of you live in a club that you're happy with,
yeah,
you can put it onto, if you have a Mac computer, the Mac computer should have iMovie. So you pull up the iMovie thing and you upload from your camera the video of you live in concert.
I see, yeah.
Then you can put the audio on top of so you have a second copy now because you just took it from the camera into the iMovie. You then put the studio version over the iMovie, and you actually have your studio tape found a film, if you will. So you can put a song up, and then you can also just do freeze frames, so they just see your photo. They don't have to watch the whole performance.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Also, I was supposed to have somebody sending me a video from the Streetsboro show that of my show, and I was thinking of using that. Not the sound, but just the video, depending on how clear it is.
Now, the new PCs also have the PC version of what iMovie is on the Macs. So if you've got that on your computer, you might, maybe your daughter can help you. You could be all set with the program that helps you transfer this stuff. But here's my second piece of advice. I have a flyer here that WinCAM gave us. U.S. Senators Tammy Baldwin and Ed Markey preserve public access to local television. There must be an access station in your region that you could join, and they can teach you how to upload.
Oh, really?
Sure, they're nonprofits like you were here. These are nonprofits, non-commercial stations. But I'm a big believer in public access, so you go there and it's $25 for members to join here at this nonprofit. So we pay annually $25, and we get to use the equipment. and we get to create our shows. Now, you got to create a show that you can air. So you got to do the Gary DeCarlo hour. And you can have guests on, too. And then you can say, okay, here's my new video, and you can upload it, but they'll teach you how to upload your video. So I'll look around the web to see what's in your area, because I'm a big believer in public access. And proponent of it, if you will. So you did a couple of shows recently, and you've got a band. And are you practicing the band, or are you just working on the album?
No, just working on the album now, because the guys work. They have a little unit themselves, and plus, because it's so hard to get jobs, you know, they also play with other bands. But yeah, I figure once something starts to shake, you know, most of the time, Joe, when I get hired just for me, because they don't want to pay to fly the band or whatever.
Oh, it's so cost prohibitive these days.
Yeah, because, you know, like it's tough out there. So I figure that if I can get something shaking around, we have a fella that books 3 or 4 pretty good-sized venues here, and we're going to turn around and talk to him once this gets done, and I'll see, you know, what I could put together. Possibly put a little 60s type show together, and you know, work it around the venues and see how it works out. Plus, I got something happening with Mohegan Sun that, if it comes together, that could be pretty nice too.
Oh, I'd love to come down to it. Love to come down to it if you're playing. So let us know.
Absolutely, Joe. I will, definitely.
So, is there a working title on the CD?
No, I haven't gotten to that point yet. No, I don't know. I was thinking of long time between drinks. I don't know.
I like that. I like that. That's good. Lou Reed said, "First thought, best thought." That's the way Lou Reed would write. First thought, best thought. You could have the 8-song EP, if you will, and then have a live disc. And so there could be like a double disc and then 2 single discs. That's always fun.
Yeah, you know, believe me, I haven't gotten to that point to where it's totally done, and then, you know, and speak to the people that I'm supposed to speak to in January and see what happens with that too, and see if they have any ideas. But you know, I'm at this point, I'm just looking to go forward, continue to write and perform and produce and stuff, and just have some fun, man.
Now, in the 90s and in the early 2000s, did you make any tapes that we don't know about?
No, I was doing some recordings up here, but I did them. I had an 8-track reel-to-reel, and what happened was all the tapes disintegrated on me.
Did you get rid of them?
No, I still have them.
Okay, so what you do is you bake them. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay, we'll talk off the air, because I have an engineering guy that bakes them. And I bake my tapes, and then I put them on DVD, and you can use them again.
No kidding.
But you can only do it once or twice. So what they do is he bakes them in a convection oven, believe it or not.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then they can roll them off once or twice, and that's it. But I always hold on to the master tapes after the baking. Now, here's a real interesting thing. Rob Fraboni, Rolling Stones producer, lives near you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Rob told me, well, he's down in Weston. Are you down near there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weston's not that far from here.
So Rob told me that when the major labels transferred all of their masters to mini DV, right?
Yeah.
DAT tape, DAT tape, digital audio tape. They destroyed the masters. It's like these film companies getting rid of Gone with the Wind. They're out of their minds.
Whoa.
You know,
why would they do that?
Because they're insane. They save on storage at Gold Mountain. They're paying Gold Mountain up in upstate New York anyway, right? So rather than store the stuff, they destroy it. Now, come on. You got the Gone with the Wind film, and you've made your digital transfer. Put it on eBay. Let some film collector store it, right?
Yeah.
Because destroying it is insane. I pay so much every month to store my tapes. People don't understand. My tapes are valuable to me. Even after I've transferred them, I keep the original masters. And you know, it was only the 1980s and 90s that this tape got bad. I just did some transfers on 1960s tapes that were amazingly perfect. They're in perfect condition, Gary. Do you remember Cy Coleman, The Best Is Yet to Come?
Yeah.
Witchcraft, he wrote for Sinatra?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was honored to be able to do the transfer for these Cy Coleman tapes. The great Cy Coleman, it's like I'm in awe that I'm touching these things, right?
Yeah.
The 60s, they didn't disintegrate because the formulas back then were wonderful for the tape. We transferred it without a hitch, and it's magnificent. The sound is amazing. It's Cy Coleman doing Bobby Hebb's Sonny. I've got like 12 different takes of it.
Wow.
And you hear Cy Coleman doing mix after mix of this classic song because he was the publisher. Okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to touch these tapes, I got to transfer them, and they're just immaculate. No baking, as they were made, and probably never played in 40, 50 years.
Wow, that's funny. What did they do to the tapes that made them so that they disintegrate?
I think Agfa was the company that started with this formula. There's a formula they came up with in the 80s, and it got gooey. And as you know, you're rearranging magnetic particles.
Yeah.
As it got gooey, the particles would cling to the reverse of the tape. You got the obverse and the reverse, right?
Yeah, my heads were always
Flaking.
dirty. Yeah, and then you try to clean them, and they would clean a little bit, and then you'd see all these little particles all
Those particles are your music.
fall off the tape. It was.
So you stop recording, and you put the tape back in the box, and you bake them. Okay. Now, the Velvet Underground, they had an album after, I think it was after the third Velvet Underground album. The album VU, it's called. Bill Levinson at Polygram had to take the tape and literally turn it upside down and record the 24 track onto another 24 track. Or it might not have been a 24, it might have been an 8 track tape, whatever it was in the day. They flipped it over and made a copy because it was all reverse. All the goose stuff went to the other side of the tape, so they had to do it backwards. Then, I don't know if they flipped that tape over. I got an article that was written on it and told the whole process of this craziness of baking it, flipping it over, and taking the information from the reverse of the tape.
Wow. That's amazing.
You got to be careful with them, but you save them. You don't throw them away. You keep them in a cool, dry place. But we got to resurrect the 80s and 90s Gary DeCarlo.
Yeah.
We got to resurrect. Now you know there's a way to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, Joe, you know, I'm just looking to do some shows, man, and have some fun. You know, meeting a lot of nice people, and you know, it's been a long time coming. You know.
Well, we're going to stay in close touch over the new year.
All right, great.
I got to talk to my film critic now. I'm so honored that on the 44th anniversary of you hitting #1, you called into our little show.
All right.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to you and yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Gary DeCarlo. Na hey hey, kiss him goodbye. Views and opinions on visual radio are mine and my guests, not necessarily those of WinCAM. We don't endorse anyone. If we talk about tape or anything, we're just talking about it. We're not endorsing. So there's my disclaimer. Time to talk to Frank, who I think is in Key West, but I'm not sure. He'll tell us. Hello, Frank. Uh-oh. We got a bad signal.
Hi, Joe. Joe, are you there?
Hey, we're there.
All right.
Hey, you sound nice and clear.
Yeah, I'm in Key Largo. The weather's clear. The signals aren't. But what can I do about that?
Where's Key Largo?
Key Largo is, if you go to Miami, if you drive down south to Miami and keep going, not too far, you're in the Florida Keys, and the first of the big keys is Key Largo, and the last is Key West.
Oh, I got divorced in Key West.
Did you?
Well, kind of, sort of, not really. We broke up down there. There.
Okay.
Wasn't married, but, you know, it was, you know, we'll always have Key West, me and whomever.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Well, elaborate on that if you want. It's up to you.
But Key Largo is a song, and so that's the first of the keys. See, it's been so long ago, I forgot.
All right. Well, I don't think she's forgotten you, Joe.
They never do. That's all I'll say. They never do. Key Largo, what are you doing down there? What's the fun happening thing?
Oh, let's see. Well, we got family in Florida, so we came to Florida for family for Christmas. And then I've never been to the Florida Keys, so we came down here. It's, I think the fun things are everything I don't do. There's a lot of fishing and a lot of beach stuff and all that. But we're going to drive to Key West tomorrow. All I can say is this is a great time of year to be here, except the hotel rates go really high.
Oh.
So I'm paying through the nose for this room, and I couldn't afford Key Largo. Key Largo, the cheapest room we could find was $500 a night.
Oh, my God. Whoa.
I imagine there's cheaper ones, but they were all gone. So Key Largo really broke the bank. I couldn't afford to go any further to sleep.
I was gonna stay over in New York. It would have been $100 at the. I won't even say the name of it, but I came back on the train. I just came back.
Yeah, I mean these cities, you got to be prepared to send it. You can't, because I should say this is their busy season. This is when all we Yankees. I'm a former Yankee, but you're a Red Sox. But all the Northerners come down here. You see a lot more Ontario plates than you see Florida plates sometimes, and so that's what's driving the room rates up. I'm told it's really cheap if you come down in the summer, but in the summer, because it's very hot and humid. And we took a trip through the Everglades today, and when we entered the park, it said mosquitoes, moderate.
I love it.
We got in the car, and after being bitten about 20 times, instead of this is moderate, I'd hate to see heavy. So it's cheap. I mean, you can come down and stay in the Keys cheap if you're really willing to put up with some misery.
All right, we got 4 minutes to talk about The Outlaw.
The Outlaw, one of the most notorious movies of the 1940s, because Howard Hughes, in a very public search for to be put it bluntly, a large-breasted woman, and he found Jane Russell, who would have a long career in Hollywood, but he found her age 21, and this was her big break. And he filmed The Outlaw, and I'm sure some of your listeners will know he had a special bra designed to enhance her appearance. Not that she needed it. She refused to wear it because it was so damn uncomfortable. But she didn't need it. And this was notorious. So he made it in 1941, and he hit censorship problem after censorship problem. It finally premiered in 1943, and it was shut. I think it premiered in San Francisco, which we think of as a liberal town now. But it was shut down after a week then. It didn't play again until 1946. And it's all sorts of legends as to what was filmed. There's supposedly a 20-minute sex scene between Jane Russell and Jack Butel, who plays Billy the Kid in the movie. Now, I think by 1940 standards, what they consider the sex scene would impress us as rather tastefully suggestive. But if it was ever made, I mean, and then you just stack the legends about this movie one on top of the other. I've never seen it. The movie as it is almost 2 hours long, and there's nothing approaching, what we would call a sex scene in there. There's some suggestive scenes. Some I would say were mildly erotic by our standards, but this was hot stuff. And in the motion of the movie, the posters, he was accentuating you-know-what on Jane Russell. So this made this movie famous and made her a star years before it ever really came out because of the censorship problems.
Was it her first movie?
Yeah, I think it was her first movie. If not, it was her first movie of any note. She was only 21. And she would not make another movie again for 5 years because both she and the guy that played Billy the Kid, Jack Butel, were put under contract by Howard Hughes. And he had this habit of putting people under contract, paying them their salary every week, and not letting them work. Because once you're under contract, you can only work on what you're assigned to, and he wouldn't give them any assignments. So he basically sat on the shelf for 5 years until their contracts expired. She went on to become a star. You know, she was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe is probably her most famous film after this one. And he basically had no career. He did some television work in the 1950s, but he disappeared. For all its hoopla, it is a kind of a weird film to watch because Howard Hawks started directing it. So there was a falling out of some type between Howard Hawks and Howard Hughes. It might have been something as simple as a schedule conflict. It might have been too much interference. Again, you can take your pick. Unless you really get into it, you're not going to know. And so Howard Hughes took over the directing of the movie, and the movie seems kind of weird. You wish they'd tighten it up. The scenes seem to go on too long. If you gave me the print, I'd say cut a half hour of that. Make the conversations tighter. Make the scenes move a bit faster. So it seems to drag for a movie that was supposed to be so erotic. It's really has a lot of stretches in it, but it was a landmark movie at breaking down barriers, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's our time tonight. Enjoy Key Largo.
I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Views and opinions on Visual Radio are mine, not my guests. We do no endorsements here, except for the movie tomorrow night, which is public domain. Reeling is next. Thank you, WinCAM, Sean O'Brien. Thank you. Good night.